When it comes to lens choices, the holy trinity is usually to have a wide-angle lens, a normal zoom lens, and a telephoto. The problem is that can get really expensive really fast, especially if you're buying the actual brand name of your camera. But for many years, I've been using Tamron lenses and I've been absolutely loving them. And today we're going to look at all three in the holy trinity from Tamron and save you a ton of money. So today we're at this beautiful studio with my friend Vinta, and we are going to be testing out all three lenses to show you that these three lenses are probably the only three lenses you ever need to buy, and why the Tamron ones might be the best choice for you because, well, money. Vinta, you ready?
Let's share.
Let's go. Now, let's not get it twisted. Tamron has a bunch of lenses in their lineup, but what I consider to be the holy trinity are these three. And they are the 16-30, the 28-75, and the 70-180, all of which have a maximum aperture of f2.8 all the way through. So first, let's talk about this guy, the 16-30 f2.8. Now, this lens is a fantastic choice for anything that you want to shoot wide. Now, in this case, I don't shoot a lot of wide portraits, but with Vinta today, I did take some wide portraits, especially showing the surrounding area of the studio, just to give you guys a sense of how wide this thing can go. In a more realistic situation, I would use this lens a lot for real estate or architecture or a lot of travel type photography because it has that really wide perspective of 16 millimeters. And for video, for things like content creation and YouTube, 16-30 is also a fantastic choice for anything that is talking head or vlogging or on the street run and gun style shooting. Really anything that you want to shoot dramatic and wide, this lens is perfect for it. And not to mention, it's really small and really lightweight, and I have this lens on my camera almost every single day. It's a very useful lens. I love it. I'm actually going to Spain, specifically to Mallorca next month, December, for the entire month, and I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But this lens is going to be a favorite lens of mine for a specific reason over there, and I'll share more information on that when I can. And this lens comes with a price tag of $930 US.
Okay.
I'm gonna have some really fun with the ultra wide angle on this. I never shoot this wide, that's also why I'm like, what do I do? And sorry, rotate a bit back towards it. Yeah, there we go. Excellent. Nice. Give me that big smile and actually bring both feet out and lean over like you're trying to touch your toes. Yes, exactly. Excellent. Okay, next up is the 28-75 f2.8. This lens has been my bread and butter lens for the better half of 3 years. I absolutely love it. I actually had the G1 or Generation 1 version of this lens for many years, but Tamron was kind enough to send over the G2, the newer updated version. Same lens, same maximum aperture, but just newer internal mechanics, new internal glass, all that stuff. And I think it is the most necessary lens for 99% of photographers out there. 28 is the average wide enough focal length that you would need for everyday shooting, and 75 is, I would say, the average tight or telephoto enough focal length that you need for everyday shots. 28-75 is just the absolute average, perfect focal length range for any lens, and that is true with this guy. Genuinely, I've basically stood my entire career on this one lens for a few years now, and I would not have had it any other way. Now, I have used this lens the most out of all three of them, but this statement is true for any lens in the Tamron lineup. They are built fantastic. They have a great build quality, very robust. Honestly, mine was in perfect condition up until the point where I actually sold it recently because now I have the G2, and I have no complaints ever about this lens, whether I'm shooting food or portraits or product or rooms or architecture or travel, anything really. This lens almost covers it all. In fact, if there's any lens out of all three of these lenses that is like the do-it-all lens, it is this one right down the middle, the Tamron 28-75. And this guy comes in at a price point of $900 US. $900 US for practically the most useful piece of glass you will have in your entire camera kit. That's a steal. Oh yeah, that's it, come on. Oh, gorgeous. Do that again with your hair. I'm gonna have a close-up. Again, I'm kind of staying around the 50mm focal length. I love that focal length, especially for these shots here. I can do a close-up portrait from like the collarbones up, like this. Exactly. Brilliant. Nice. Gorgeous. And then we move on to a lens that I picked up earlier this year, the big boy. This is the Tamron 70 to 180 f2.8. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story about why I actually pulled the trigger and bought this lens in the first place. Several months ago, I had a job come across my desk to shoot 30 restaurants in a month, in 30 days. And I knew that I needed one lens that I could count on to get really beautifully compressed images of food and really excel at that space. Now, 75 on the tight end of this lens, the 28-75, was not as tight as I wanted to go for my food work, and so I decided to pick up the 70 to 180. And thank God I did, because this lens absolutely stole the show and carried me all the way through, and the images speak for themselves. Now, in the case of the portraits that I shot with Binton today, obviously the studio was not big enough to really utilize as tight of a lens like the 70 to 180, but I was able to get some really close-up portraits just to show you the effect that a more compressed lens can have. Again, I'm going to Spain in December, and I'm going to be doing a lot of photo shoots, especially with this lens, so look out for that as well. And this guy comes in at a price point of $1,100 US. Again, for the lens, for its application, it is an amazing deal. Interesting. Okay, I like this. I like the direction this is going. 3, 2, 1. Oh, come on. What are we talking about right now? Oh, yeah. Bring your hand up to your face for me. This is going to be a really tight frame. Oh, yeah. So these are my holy trifecta of Tamron lenses that I use for every single photo shoot. Now, to give you a bit of a comparison, I'm going to tell you how much the same holy trinity of wide, normal, and telephoto lenses would cost in the world of Sony G Master lenses and Canon RF lenses. First up with Sony, you have the 16 to 35mm, you have the 24 to 70, and you have the 70 to 200. And these three lenses come in at $2,650 for the 16 to 35, $2,450 for the 24 to 70, and $3,150 for the 70 to 200, for a total price of $8,250. $8,250. That is a lot of cash. And then in Canon land, you have the 15 to 35, the 24 to 70, and the 70 to 200. And those prices are $2,600 for the 15 to 35, $2,600 again for the 24 to 70, and $3,000 for the 70 to 200. For again, a total price of $8,200, right around the exact same price as all three lenses in the Sony G Master range. And then the Tamron holy trinity. Now, if you've done mental math throughout this video, all three of these lenses together come in at a price point of $2,930 US. That is insane. So really, what I'm trying to say here is, if you are building out a serious professional kit and you want a series of lenses that is going to cover you for literally 99.9% of all the projects you ever do, these three focal ranges are it. And buying lenses is never a cheap undertaking, but if you are going to buy good glass, serious glass that is still really high quality and will perform no matter what the conditions, you may as well save some money and go for the Tamrons. And now the only other lens in the Tamron lineup that does come close to competing with all three of these lenses is the Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8. Now that lens is absolutely fantastic, and I really recommend that lens for people that shoot things like weddings or events, because it is a one-stop shop lens that gets it all done. But the difference between that one lens and these three, well, first of all, that one lens is really big and really heavy. If you've ever tried that lens out, you'll know what I'm talking about. It is just a beast to carry around. So on that note alone, I much prefer carrying around these three separate lenses. And another tip is that, well, 35 is not as wide as 16, and 150 is not as tight as 180, so you do miss out on the focal range as well. Now, I do love that lens, but genuinely, if I had to pick between the one lens that does almost what these three do, but it's really heavy and clunky, versus having three lenses that can do absolutely everything, I'm going this route every time. All right, that was a ton of fun. Thank you so much, Tamron, for sending me these lenses to test out. Thank you, Vinta, for shooting today.
Of course.
If you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that like button. Give Vinta a follow over on Instagram and smash that subscribe button down below. But until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.